Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Monday, June 24th, 2019. All right, so today we have the moon shifting into watery Pisces for the next few days. So the theme likely shifting around that of cultivating greater receptivity, greater acceptance, and just a more intuitive approach to life. So with this, Venus is squaring up to Neptune, so also very watery with this. This could have to deal with maybe our values, our enjoyments, and maybe relationship stuff in this watery way. So with this, there might be a natural tendency towards a bit of dreaminess or unclarity or wanting to escape with the enjoyments or something like this. So really good to be aware of that collective energy and ground it in constructive ways. Makes it a really good day for enjoying spiritual things, spiritual connections, creativity, all in that more intentful and conscious way. All right, so let's take a look at this as well as a quick weekly recap here in more detail when we return. All right, so here is the sky for this Monday. And again, we are using the actual size of the constellations called true Sidereal Astrology. This does change the signs from mainstream astrology. So if you are new to the channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information. All right, so we have essentially the moon shifting out of Aquarius, where the moon was for most of the weekend. That had more themes relating to cultivating our eccentricities, our uniqueness, contribution, really getting into that forward and future and progressive side of ourselves. But as the day unfolds, we'll likely notice more of this Piscean watery energy. For the next few days, it'll be a great time for cultivating our receptive side, doing things like having more peace in our life, maybe getting some rest or spiritual activities, maybe creative time, just getting into this more receptive state and fundamentally having a bit more acceptance in our life, releasing things, maybe things that are outside of our control, for example, trusting the divine process, and just really living presently, or as presently as we can throughout this process. And that really helps us connect to what you might say is the essence of life, the ether of life, where that peace and real spiritual liberation is found. So that's going to be the theme. Good to do this, but just noticing sort of themes throughout the day with that kind of stuff. So Venus is going to be squaring up to Neptune here today. It'll sort of dissipate as the day unfolds because it is going to be happening quite early in the day for most of us. But still, nonetheless, it will be in orb. So this can be this sort of dreamy energy with Venusian things, with things relating to Venus. And Venus usually involves things like our values, our enjoyments, our material life, resources, and fundamentally relationships. So we could say it's the values and relationship stuff. So in the square, the collective energy will be a natural tendency towards a little bit of an imbalance with that watery energy. So we may feel maybe a bit dreamy with this kind of stuff, maybe feel like escaping if it is involving, again, the enjoyments, maybe with enjoying things or resources or comforts, things of this nature, wanting to escape there, or maybe with relationships as well. So there gives a little bit of this fog, a little bit of this haze, a little bit of this dreamy kind of energy. So anything we can do to channel this constructively makes it a really good way of working with this. So doing things like practicing that presence when it comes to our enjoyments and relationships, practicing receptivity, like acceptance, compassion, understanding, right? And just clarity, right? Just being as clear as we can, just again, bringing that conscious light to this natural side of ourselves that does want the peace, right? Fundamentally, that's what the side of us wants with Neptune is wants the peace, right? Wants that spiritual liberation. And so finding the constructive ways of doing that through these Venusian things is excellent with the square. And in that way, it does become very, very constructive. And these kinds of things, like our values and relationships, can become stronger, more present, more spiritualized, you could say, with this aspect. All right, so that's definitely the most important thing. But let's go ahead and do a bit of a weekly recap since we haven't looked at the placements here in a bit. So late last week, we did have the sun shift into Gemini. So we do have this focus now in terms of the more practical aspects of life. Really good time for focusing on things like communication or learning practical matters, using our left side of the brain kind of stuff, and dealing with more things in our more immediate sort of environment. So Gemini is all about being flexible, being adaptive, being curious, willing to learn, right? Getting into this side of ourself can give us this energy, vitality, and life force at this time. Now, Mercury and Mars have recently both shifted into Cancer since late last week. So there is this shift into some of more of what you might say is the protective qualities of ourself, dealing more with our feelings, our bodies, the past, our inner guidance, this more internalized, reflective, and protective sort of quality. So with Mercury, you could be thinking this way, maybe thinking about the past or reflecting more on, in terms of those things, maybe communicating a little bit more with caring or nurturing or protective sort of communications, or again, thinking in that way. And with Mars, really asserting ourselves in this way, right? Because Mars is the side of ourself that wants to take action, assert ourselves, pursue our needs, but in Cancer does so in such a way that is, again, maybe caring, maybe creating that protective environment, and really attuned to our intrinsic values and what really matters most. So really good even to just put energy and drive into those things that matter most. Maybe it's family, maybe it's through the home life, maybe it is about, these intrinsic values, even people that maybe aren't part of our physical family per se, right? Having that kind of bond and emotional connection as well in terms of, pursuing things and taking that active approach there. All right, so that's the shift there with Cancer. So we have a bit of air, a bit of water, but we also do have some earth energy. Venus is still in Taurus, so it is still a great time of enjoying the natural world, nature, beauty, the enjoyments of life like food, relaxation, getting into our senses, right? Really good way of enjoying this more grounded and resourceful side to life with Venus. All right, everyone, so that's a bit of a recap. Also, something else too is that we are starting to enter into the third quarter phase of the lunar cycle, which means that about a week ago we had that full moon. That would have been a time of awareness and shifts and changes. And so now this part of the week, it's really good for integrating this energy, all right? Setting some intentions, maybe taking some actions, fundamentally challenging ourselves to maybe carry some things forward from over the past week or whatever we did become aware of, right? Really good with this as well. But today, most important thing is the moon shifting into Pisces, giving us this receptive theme here for the next few days and cultivating that internalized spiritual and intuitive side of ourselves, along with cultivating that with Venusian things, values, relationships, finding that constructive way of bringing in that watery, oceanic, Neptunian, and Piscean type of energy. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the next daily forecast. Take care.